It says I jumped that shark.
You might want to email us and let us know what the makeup of his socioeconomic makeup of all of his peers are.
Well, I'll tell you his socioeconomic peers. Mostly white, old, rich men who are...
Like Bill Ayers?
Right.
Okay. All right.
Who are certifiably insane. So, another point to make about CNN. Rush calls it the Calamity News Network. I'm calling it something more beyond that. They're just absolutely insane. It's almost like on The View when Rosie O'Donnell, one of the loudmouth, one of the despicable women there, said, well, Christians are killing people too.
What is with that argument? What is she talking about?
Nobody knows. So
she must be talking about the guy at the Planned Parenthood. Apparently.
So Ashley Banfield is speaking with Jeffrey Lord, a former Reagan administration personnel, and they're speaking about these terrorists. They're speaking about Trump and the immigration, and she just loses it.
Don't they all?
And she's got something to say about these Jews.
Oh, boy.
These
Here we go.
Terrorist, head-lopping Jews.
What kind of...
You supplant the word Jews for Muslims in a lot of the rhetoric that we've had this morning. I think people would find it sort of cringeworthy and reminiscent of a really ugly time in our history. Imagine a Customs and Border Patrol agent, Jeffrey, asking someone, are you a Jew? How would that go over?
Well, Ashley, look, first of all, there are no Jews that are coming in here to destroy America. They're coming here to get away from these people.
Okay.
I mean, we have a problem, and saying that we don't have a problem is suicidal. It brought death to these Americans in California.
I got it. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. There's a guy named John Pistole who just recently was running the TSA. Real venerable guy. He, before that, was with the FBI. He was an executive assistant director for counterterror and counterintelligence, and he sat before Congress in 2004.
Here it goes.
And he testified, and this is to your point about there are no Jews coming to hurt Americans. He testified about, from the period of 1980 to 1985, there were 18 terrorist attacks in the United States committed by Jews, 15 of them by members of the Jewish Defense League. The head of the Jewish Defense League was on jail awaiting trial on charges of trying to bomb a mosque in Culver City, trying to bomb Darrell Ice's office, an Arab American. What are you talking about? There have been Jewish terrorist attacks. Should we therefore ask no Jews to please apply for a visa?
Are you really saying to me that there's an international Jewish conspiracy to take over the world? I mean, which
I'm telling you
radical Islam
that there have been that many terrorist attacks committed by Jews, and no one's suggesting for a minute that all Jews should be wiped out of this country from visiting. It's the same thing.
Is she telling us that there's a big cover-up?
Ashley.
Yeah.
The motive here is to set up a caliphate, to remake the entire world in the image of radical Islam. That's what they're
crazies.
about. And I might add,
not the Muslims, the crazies.
In 1683, when they were the gates
there are
of Vienna.
1.5 or 1.6 billion Muslims, and the majority.
And the peaceable ones are irrelevant.
The majority is like
and Ashley, that's a good point, because I listen to people on your air and other places. The Dr. Judy Zasser, I guess his name is, who says it's Muslims themselves that are going to have to come to grips with this problem.
Yes.
People like you and I, and even Donald Trump, can't solve this. This problem has to be resolved within the Muslim community. They've got to step up to the plate here. You know, and we're probably almost out of time, but I would just say that during the civil rights movement, there were a lot of white guys in the South, Klan members, etc. And a lot of good white guys stood up and said, we're not tolerating this. And they marched for civil rights, and they helped get these civil rights laws that were passed in the 1860s reconstructed and brought back to life. They didn't leave it to other people. They did it themselves. And the Muslim community is going to have to do this themselves.
I got to go. You're right. We are at a time, and I could talk to you all day about this, because we didn't even get into Ted Kaczynski or,
Thank you for having me.
Oh, let's start throwing that out.
She threw out Ted Kaczynski. She's firebombing. She's lobbing.
How did she run out of time before she threw out Timothy McVeigh?
Oh, she missed that. That's
said their poster boy.
She said 15 Jewish
terrorist attack between 1980 and 1985.
80 and 85. I looked through that list, and what she is saying is terrorist attacks. A handful of them were attempts in the Muslim thing with the mosque.
The mosque, yeah.
They were being suppressed. They're being, the
if
Muslims
I'm
are
going to
coming
believe
after
her,
them.
if she expects me to believe her, she needs to make the case and convince me with evidence that there is a worldwide conspiracy among, all right, let's just say United States. There's a U.S. conspiracy among U.S. journalists to suppress terrorism among Christians and Jews, and that they are purposely overblowing the terrorist attacks from Muslims.
Right.
She needs to convince me of that, because if she can't, then she can take her damn 15 quote, air quote, terrorist attack by Jews from 1980 to 1985, and she can shove them right where the blood shoots out of everywhere.
Dude, that's the 85. Yeah, 85 is 31 years ago.
But she gave a 5-year time period. What was going on between 80 and 85 that were upsetting Jews so much that there was this Jewish problem of them having where we were at risk of dying of a terrorist attack by Jews?
Well, I think maybe something that did upset the Jews was back in the day when Jimmy Carter in the late 70s overthrew the Shah and installed the Ayatollah, the Khomeini.
Okay, but
which
you know
is
what?
Which is Islamic.
Where was the journalist
Sharia
on this?
law stuff and
so journalists were suppressing
extermination of the Jews.
By the way, okay, so in a 5-year period between 80 and 85, let's just say that they were anywhere near the problem that we face today, where there's a clear worldwide organized war declared on the West by Muslims. Let's say that the Jewish terrorist attacks were even remotely close to that. It wasn't reported on. Who do you know that was ever talking about at the water cooler about, oh man, I'm getting a little worried about the next Jewish terrorist attack? It's just ridiculous. It requires belief in a conspiracy of somebody, journalist, government, whatever, to suppress the severity or sincerity or seriousness of this.
Apparently, in the early 80s, there was a lot of anti-Semitics, a lot of anti-Jewish sentiments in America.
Who says that?
Wikipedia.
You mean the Jew-hating leftists in Wikipedia? I mean, flat out, if you're a leftist, I would give you maybe a 9 out of 10 chance, 90% chance, that you're completely anti-Semitic, which is really weird because they like to take minorities and turn them into victims.
Except the Jews.
I don't know. It's weird. I can't explain that.
Foretold by the Bible.
Maybe it's because they realize, well, the Christians kind of got them on their side.
Well, why do the Jews vote liberal?
Well, I don't think it's a slight. When you say Jews vote progressive,
right,
communist,
right,
I think it's like 56 to 50 or 44, something like that.
Well, it blows my mind that it's that much.
Yeah, well, if you watch Biloxi Blues, which we talked about,
wow.
There's a speech in there that sums it up. It's two Jews talking to each other,
right?
Because one of them is Matthew Broderick, the other one is the Jew that wears his religion on his sleeve. That guy, the one that everybody is bullying on because he's Jewish.
That was an '80s movie.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Oh, it was
anti-Semitic.
No wonder there was so much.
They were hating on it because of Matthew Broderick.
No, because of all the other. Matthew Broderick was a Jew, but he didn't wear it on his sleeve.
He wasn't a real Jew.
He wasn't. Yeah, that's called the what is it? The true Scotsman fallacy.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, he wasn't a real Jew, because if he was a real Jew, he would stand up for the little guy, which would make him a progressive. And that was part of the speech that. if I don't stand up for the little guy, who will? Or I'm sorry, if I don't stand up for what's right,
who will?
And by the way, Matthew, you just don't get it, do you? That was part of his speech. We're gonna have to get that speech on. Yeah,
the Jews. Okay, so did you hear about the people who are calling for Donald Trump to step aside and quit running for the GOP nomination as president? Foreign leader, well, I don't know if he's a leader, but foreign Saudi billionaire prince who funds Islamic advocacy in American universities said on Twitter, "Trump, you disgrace not only to GOP..." Oh, that's Russian. That's Russian. Where did that come from?
I don't know. Putin? Is that you, Putin?
How do you like it, Slurpee? You disgrace. You disgrace. You disgrace not only to GOP, but to all of America. Withdraw from the U.S. presidential race, as you will never win.
Did you get into character
by going Slurpee?
By saying, would you like a Slurpee? Oh my gosh. You just totally lost my train of thought. Wow.
You've never gotten into character before?
I have. Not on air. And not...
Oh, you could hear that?
Oh, yeah. We didn't bleep that out.
That wasn't... Where was my cough button?
Oh, man.
So, but the Saudi prince is calling for Trump to stand down, as he will never win the presidential race. You are a disgrace.
First of all,
a Saudi prince.
All terrorism comes from Mecca.
Who funds terrorism in America by
there is
funding universities.
Really unholy alliance between not only America, but the West in general and Saudi Arabia.
Right. And no. Yeah, definitely.
For some reason, the journalists, the politicians, everybody where you may hear news from the Middle East regarding terrorism, when it comes to Saudi Arabia, I mean, the propaganda that comes out against the Middle East, Islam, the danger, the war, I mean, when it comes to Saudi Arabia, you almost think you could go and have a vacation there.
Yeah.
But they are.
Right.
They are probably the most Sharia compliant place in the Middle East almost.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't.
That being said, when the Saudi prince comes out and says that Trump should get out of the race, that is an endorsement, as far as I'm concerned,
you would think,
for voting for Trump.
Do you know who else called for him to step down and move aside? The White House spokesman.
Oh, that was just awesome. Because it you know what I've been reading in comments sections now?
What's that?
They're all like, well, you know what? I wasn't really going to vote for Trump because I'm a true conservative. That's what they were saying. I'm a true conservative. And we all know. Now they're like, you know what? It's going to upset the leftists so much. I think I want to vote for him just to get them to maximum upsetness.
I spoke to a listener, a rabid listener of ours.
Uh-huh.
And I said, please, I know how you feel about Trump. You've told me. I understand your feelings. However, if he's the nominee, and then that's where the conversation ended, because he looked at me and said, yes, I know. I listened to the show, and I understand where you guys are coming from.
You mean we're having an impact?
Yes.
I like that.
Because, as we say, sitting out of a race is actually voting for the enemy.
Yes.
It's a vote for the enemy.
And we've talked about this so many times, and we're right at the very beginning
precipice
of the next voting cycle.
Correct.
We're here. This is the year.
Sign up now. If you haven't registered to vote, go register.
Less than a year from today, we're going to be talking about our new president, whoever that may be.
Oh, my God.
This time next year.
Oh, my Lord.
We're going to be talking about who our next president is.
Wow.
It's going to come really quick.
So what if we're talking about Obama?
Iowa's in like a month. Well, Obama's going to do his third term, right? No, it's not a third term unless